Not every man walks into a room and makes people turn their heads without trying, but the Sigma does. He's not loud. He doesn't dress to impress. He doesn't show off. Still, something about him leaves a mark. And for women, it's confusing. It's not the usual charm. It's not flowers or sweet talk. It's presence, calm, detachment. It's the feeling that he's always one step removed, even when he's standing right in front of them. In today's dating world, most men follow the same script. Try hard, compliment too much, keep texting to stay on her mind. But the Sigma? He never learned that script. And even if he did, he wouldn't care to follow it. He moves on instinct, quiet, director, unapologetic. And the less he tries, the more it works. That's what drives women crazy. Not in a way that makes them frustrated, but curious. They can't figure him out. They can't put him in a box. They can't read the usual signs because he doesn't give them. And that mystery doesn't push them away. It pulls them in. These aren't tricks. These aren't tactics. These are real patterns in the way Sigma males carry themselves. And without meaning to, they make women feel more, think deeper, and chase harder. Here are 7 things Sigma males do that leave women hooked. 1. They disappear without apology. Most people crave constant attention. They want quick replies, daily updates, and someone who's always there. But Sigma males aren't wired like that. 1 minute he's present, fully engaged, eyes locked, listening carefully. The next he's gone. No warning, no long explanation. Just silence. He's not ghosting. He's not playing games. He's just recharging, reflecting, building something, or maybe just enjoying solitude. Either way, he doesn't feel the need to justify his absence, and that's what makes it powerful. For women, this is disarming. They're used to men trying to stay relevant, stay noticed, stay in the mix. But when a Sigma vanishes, it's different. It's not cold, it's centered. It makes her wonder, what's going on in his world that doesn't need me in it? Then just as smoothly, he returns. Calm, composed, not chasing, not apologizing. That rhythm, engage, vanish, reappear, creates contrast, and contrast creates memory. It sticks. In a world where everyone's too available, a man who moves in and out on his own terms becomes magnetic. He doesn't ask for space, he just takes it, and somehow that space pulls people closer. 2. They make silence feel personal. Most men talk too much, trying to sound smart, trying to be funny, trying to impress. But Sigma males don't speak to be heard. They speak when there's something worth saying, and when there's not, they're fine with silence. That silence isn't cold, it's calm. It doesn't push people away, it invites them in. Because when someone can sit quietly without making it awkward, it shows confidence, control, presence. With a Sigma, silence becomes its own kind of connection. A quiet pause that says, we don't have to fill this. And that kind of energy, it makes her relax. Drop the act. Say more than she planned. It throws women off in the best way. They're used to noise, to pressure, to men who fill every second just to stay interesting. But when a man lets the silence breathe, he changes the pace, slows the room down, creates space for something deeper. She starts noticing the weight of each word, the tension between glances, the meaning in what isn't said. That kind of silence becomes intimate, and long after the conversation ends, she's still thinking about the quiet. 3. They stay calm under pressure. Most men react fast when something goes wrong. They panic, argue, over-explain, or try to fix things instantly, especially if a woman is involved. But Sigma males, they don't rush. They don't explode. They observe, think, then move if needed. That steady calm isn't just about control, it's about inner clarity. Sigma males have already faced silence, faced rejection, faced life without needing anyone to validate them. So when chaos hits, it doesn't shake them like it shakes others. This grounded response does something unexpected. It makes women feel safe and challenged at the same time. Safe, because they're not dealing with someone unstable. Challenged, because that calm reveals their own restlessness. And that contrast is powerful. In a heated moment, when emotions are running wild, A Sigma might say nothing at all, or just one line that stops everything. Not because he wants to dominate the room, but because he doesn't give energy to nonsense. That restraint carries weight. It flips the dynamic. Even in relationships, when drama shows up, he doesn't match the tone. He steps back, not to avoid it, but to see it clearly. And women notice. They're not used to that kind of response. It makes them rethink how they act around him. It makes them question why they are affected by someone who barely reacts. The Sigma doesn't do it to manipulate. It's just how he's built. But that emotional discipline, that presence under pressure, it drives women crazy in a way they can't explain. Because it's rare, and what's rare always lingers. 4. They don't flatter. They observe. Compliments are easy to throw around. You look beautiful. That dress is nice. Most men use them like candy, sweet but predictable. Sigma males, they don't flatter. They observe. And when they do speak, it hits different. It's not generic. It's not what every guy says. It's something she didn't expect anyone to notice. The way she pauses before answering. The way her voice drops when she's nervous. The small details that no one ever brings up. That kind of observation catches her off guard. Because it's not surface level. It's not automated. It's real. And that depth makes her feel seen in a way she didn't know she wanted. Sigmas aren't afraid to sit with silence and pay attention. They don't scan for things to compliment. They absorb. And because they don't hand out praise casually, their words hold more value. When he says something, she listens. Because she knows he doesn't say things just to get a reaction. Even more, the Sigma doesn't try to make her feel good to gain favor. He says what he means. He means what he says. And that honesty, clean, simple, quiet, lands deeper than loud praise ever could. Most men use words to build interest. Sigma males use presence to create tension. And when they finally speak, it drives her crazy. Because it wasn't about trying to win her over. It was just the truth. And the truth, when spoken with no agenda, is hard to forget. 5. They walk away without drama. When most guys feel rejected, disrespected, or unwanted, they either beg for another chance or lash out to save face. Not the Sigma. If something doesn't sit right, he leaves. Quietly, cleanly. No arguments, no guilt trip, no mess. This simple action hits harder than any dramatic exit because it shows her he doesn't need closure. He doesn't need to prove he's right. He doesn't even need to be understood. He just removes himself like someone who's already used to standing alone. That's what makes it hit so deep. She's used to men fighting to stay, trying to talk it out, apologizing for things they didn't even do. But when a Sigma walks away, it's like watching a door close and knowing it won't open again. It creates silence that she didn't expect. She thought he'd argue. She thought he'd break. She thought he'd care more. And now, instead of being chased, she's left with questions. Was I wrong? Did I mess up? Why didn't he say more? But the Sigma doesn't need to explain. He's not punishing her. He's protecting himself. And that quiet exit makes a louder statement than any angry outburst ever could. His detachment isn't cold. It's calculated. He knows when something is no longer worth his time. And when that moment comes, he doesn't burn bridges. He just walks away and never looks back. And that kind of goodbye, the one that doesn't beg, doesn't blame, doesn't break, it sticks in her mind long after he's gone. 6. They stay unavailable, even when they're interested. When most men like a woman, they start bending. Plans shift, priorities fade, messages increase, and without realizing it, they move from being themselves to being available. Always available. But Sigma males don't move like that. Even when a Sigma is genuinely interested, he doesn't start orbiting around her. He doesn't adjust his routine to stay on her radar. Not because he's playing hard to get, but because he actually has a life he values more than attention. His time is structured, his energy is focused, his goals are clear. If a woman fits into that, great. If not, he keeps moving. This doesn't come from ego, it comes from self-respect. He knows how easy it is to lose yourself in early attraction. He's seen it happen. And he refuses to trade progress for emotional distractions. Even when he wants someone, he'll never want them more than his peace. That kind of controlled distance pulls women in more than 100 text messages ever could. It's rare. Most guys rush to close the gap. Sigma males keep the gap real. And that space, that tension, creates curiosity, wonder, longing. She starts noticing that when he shows up, it's intentional. He's not always there. So when he is, it matters. And that difference changes the whole dynamic. He doesn't chase her. He doesn't ignore her. He just stays rooted. And that quiet unavailability makes everything he does feel heavier, more meaningful. It's not mystery, it's discipline. And in a world full of men who crumble under infatuation, that strength leaves a lasting impression. 7. They never try to be liked. There's a difference between being liked and being respected. Most men chase the first. Sigma males live the second. They don't adjust themselves to be more digestible. They don't nod in agreement just to keep peace. They don't smile to avoid discomfort. They say what they think. They stand on what they believe, even if it makes people uncomfortable. This isn't about being rude. Sigma males aren't trying to offend anyone, but they also won't trade their integrity just to be accepted. They're not trying to vibe with everyone. They don't want to be the most liked guy in the room. They'd rather be the realist, and women feel that immediately. It's refreshing, but also intense, because it's hard to control a man who isn't seeking approval. You can't use silence to guilt him. You can't withhold affection to make him chase. He doesn't respond to manipulation, not because he's unkind, but because he sees through it. When a woman interacts with a Sigma, she gets the real version from day one. No fake charm, no people-pleasing, no shape-shifting to match her mood. That kind of consistency builds respect fast. And over time, it becomes attraction, deep attraction. Because what starts as "he's hard to read" turns into "I trust him more than anyone." And what started as "he's intense" turns into "he's the only one I don't have to guess with." The Sigma isn't trying to win hearts. He just refuses to lose himself. And that alone makes people follow. Sigma males don't win women over by trying harder. They don't chase. They don't fake charm. They don't play games. They just move differently. Quiet, focused, and unbothered. And that difference isn't subtle. It's unforgettable. In a world full of noise, they create silence. In a world full of effort, they move with ease. And that contrast, it lingers. It drives women crazy. Not with confusion, but with curiosity. Because deep down they know they're not dealing with a regular man. They're dealing with something rare. If you saw yourself in any of this, you don't need a label. You already know what you are. But if the word Sigma fits, you wear it without saying a word. If this video hits something real, hit the subscribe. We're not here for the crowd. We're here for the few who get it.